Shit. Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Horn 7, can y'all see me? Something's a little bit different in my my feed than here to be normal, to be honest with you. No. Okay. What about now? See everything backwards? Sorry, this is really different. Speedy German, can y'all see me now? We all good? Okay, sweet. All right, hell yeah. Oh, shit. Fuck. Shit. Ah! Fuck. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, dear Lord. All right, sorry about that, everybody. Made that a lot much harder than I needed to. Obviously, very much apologize about that. But can y'all hear me just fine after y'all can finally see me? All right, so basically 3 main topics of discussion here on down the pike here for you. So 3 things that I basically want to talk about. Number 1 is the O-line big board. The O-line big board is something that come into effect, is coming into display here. We've obviously got a couple of commitments with Connor Robertson and Cole Hudson just recently, but we do have a couple more that we could possibly see here in just a few couple of days. Probably on July 20th is probably when I would expect our next commitment. With that being said, those are 2 topics of display that I am going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about the main topics of Eugene, Oregon, the University of Texas at Eugene. What's been going up on that? Lots of prospects have been going north up into the state of Washington, especially been going up there to Eugene, Oregon as of recently. So I'm thinking that Nike definitely has something to do with that as well, with that NIL definitely coming into sway there, without a doubt, happening up in Eugene. And with the next 2 to 3 topics of conversation, which one of those 2 or 3 linemen or possibly recruits we're going to get in general. So before starting out, does anybody have any quick questions that y'all want to get off your mind? Sorry, I did have a bit of a hard time getting everything started out. I did using this new streaming service, wasn't quite sure exactly how I was going to get everything nailed down properly for you guys. But yep. So you are back with burnt orange hair. Yep, man. I got the burnt orange hair on right now, dude. I'll probably be changing the hat several times. Y'all know me. That's kind of sort of how I roll it out. I like to have several different hats, several different themes going on for you guys. But with that being said, let's talk about this big board, man. Let's talk about the University of Texas and where we are at as far as the offensive line position. As I did say earlier, we did have 2 commits just this past week. We did get 2 interior commits. We did get Connor Robertson. He is going to be the 3-star guard / swing tackle, mainly looked at as an interior player. We got him from Austin Westlake Hills, the Chaparral. He is continuing that pipeline from Austin Westlake Hills. The last kid that we did sign and get on the 40 acres was going to be QB1 Sam Ellinger. And, of course, also coming into the fold is going to be Cole Hudson, the interior guard / center as well, coming from Texas, the great state of Texas as well. So with that being said, we did have a couple of misses that did go up to the great state of Oregon, as I did say earlier. Cameron Williams, the 6'5", 360-pound, 365-pound plus offensive tackle, picked it up, packed it up, and went to Eugene. And then just on July 4th, the big-time 5-star, number 15 rated player in all of the nation, Calvin Banks, picked it up and packed it up, and he decided to place his commitment to Eugene as well. Multiple people thinking that these kids are just mainly possibly signing University of Oregon recruits, are signing Nike contracts along with that national letter of intent. Because as you know, the NIL is very real, name, image, and likeness. And I think the University Oregon Ducks, quack, quack, and a couple of other universities such as Miami are jumping over it. Jumping on that on the fast track and getting in on these kids earlier. So with that being said, as those 2 misses and those 2 commitments on the interior, where does that lead the offensive line big board? And where does that leave Texas going? So as you can see, as we do have those 2 commitments on the interior, that still leaves with the interior still left to hold. And with that being said, we're going to be talking about the number 1 overall player, by my estimation, the number 1 overall prospect in all the class of 22 still out there, probably not going to be committing for quite some time. And that's going to be from Arlington Bowie, already wearing the colors, already in the burnt orange. And that's going to be Devon Campbell from Arlington Bowie, 6'3", right around 310 pounds. As I have made a couple of videos about him, and man, I call him wrecking ball because he pulls out in those lead blocks, and man, is an absolute business decision. And if you're a guard, if you're a linebacker, and you just need to get up out of his way, whenever big DJ Campbell starts getting on rolling. If you definitely want a defensive backs and he's pulling and he has a running back coming with a full steam ahead behind him, you definitely need to get out of the way. DJ Campbell has been crystal balled to the University of Texas Longhorns for quite some time now, and it would be a big giant egg on the face of the University of Texas Longhorns fans, as well as other recruits and the long-time fan base if that we were not to land him. As we did say, we did have Coach Herb Hand this past year, as he can grill a nice steak, he can make a nice brisket. With that being said, offensive line recruiting was not something that was in his repertoire, as we did have multiple misses this past year. Savion Byrd picked it up, packed it up, went to OU. We had the Legacy twins, been documented multiple times, as James and Tommy Brockemeyer picked it up and packed it up and went to Tuscaloosa. And this is why we were left. This past class of 21, we only had two three-star commits in the signee class of 2021. So this year, the class of 2022 is very important that we land multiple signees and recruits on the interior and exterior of the line. So we need those guards, tackles, as well as centers to be coming into the fold in the class of 22. In my estimation, what I got going on is Devon Campbell is the number one out of the group. So moving on, but sticking with the group to the OGs, the offensive guard from St. Bosco High School in Bellflower, California, man, is Ernest Green. Big-time prospect, another five-star, fringe 5-star recruit, as he is 6'5", 330 pounds. Big boy, big interior line prospect. After DJ Campbell, Devon Campbell, he is the must-get OG, original gangster offensive guard position, as we need to solidify that position. We need the big bodies. We need the big, large men to create those holes, because every single year that Coach Steve Sarkisian has been an offensive coordinator and or head coach, he has had a 1,000-yard rusher. And we know he likes to run the RPO. He likes to run the run pass option. So with that being said, you need the primetime playmakers on the offensive line, and these are those guys. So in addition to the two interior line guys that we do have, Devon Campbell and Ernest Green are probably going to be the only other guard takes, by my estimation, in the class of 2022, as I think that we're all filled up on the inside. The interior is all filled up, and everywhere else that we go, unless it's Devon Campbell or Ernest Green, everybody else is just going to be a pass, by my estimation. So moving on from the interior and moving on to the exterior, the guys that we really need to focus in on, and we're talking about the offensive tackle position. As I did say earlier, we did miss on the 3-star big boy Cameron Williams coming straight out of Duncanville, and we did miss on Kelvin Banks. Kelvin Banks was a bit of a lean towards Aggie for quite some time, and really the race did come down to Aggie, whether he was going to go stay in Texas and College Station or pick it up and pack it up and go to Eugene, Oregon, talking about Calvin Banks. So it was no surprise that he did not commit to the University of Texas, but big Cameron Williams out of Duncanville was a little bit of surprise that he did not choose to stay at home and choose the good guys. By my estimation, although University of Texas was late in offering big Cameron Williams, whenever we did make that offer, he did seem to make a very impression very earlier, and he did seem to like what Coach Herb Hand and Steve Sarkisian was to be offering. So it was a bit disappointed whenever the big offensive tackles went to Oregon, not going to lie. So moving on and talking about the offensive line and talking about still the offensive line and the outer tackle positions, we're going to be talking about Josh Connery Jr., and he is going to be from Seattle, Washington. Someone that Coach Kyle Flood would possibly use Coach PK and Coach Sark from that West Coast connection, as the West Coast guys possibly get it done on the outside edge of the offensive tackle position. This is a bit of a stretch, as Josh Connery Jr. is going to be a 5-star prospect himself, nationally rated as the 3rd offensive tackle and the 17th player overall, regardless of position. Bit of a stretch, bit of a lean, Josh Connery Jr., but if you don't cast a wide net, you're surely not ever going to get any big fish. So with that being said, Josh Connery Jr. is still on the list and is still on the big board by my estimation. But that is going to be where the list is up on the higher end of everything is if you are looking at Cam Dewberry still in the top 100 as he's nationally rated at 101 at the offensive tackle position. The Atacosta Humble prospect, in my estimation, is probably not going to end up going to the good, probably going to end up going to the Buckeyes of The Ohio State University. I believe he's probably pretty much well off the board at this point in time, but many Longhorns fans still believe that we are in the race for Cam Dewberry. Me just personally, I'm just not one of them. Recently, we did have the offensive tackle body from Deer Creek in Edmond, Oklahoma, Jacob Sexton. He decided to stay home, and he decided to stay home and boom and soon with the Oklahoma University. So he is off the big board, which leaves us to Malik Ogbo, the big offensive tackle prospect, almost 6'6", as I did say earlier, as we do like the big wide bodies, the guys with the long arms that can touch you from across the room, from across the way. And Malik Ogbo is viewed to be one of those guys as he's 320 pounds and already 6'6", nationally rated still as a 4-star prospect at 271. He is going to be coming from Washington as well as we casting our wide net out to the West Coast. So hopefully Kyle Flood and Steve Sarkisian can dig into Malik. It is a bit of a stretch at this point in time, as it was a big blow to the University of Texas when Big Calvin Banks did pick it up and pack it up and decide to go quack with the Ducks. So Malik is a bit of a stretch at this time, and the coaching staff needs to get back in the line of communications. By my estimation, is we are not the leader in the clubhouse for Malik at this point in time. So as I did say, a big Cameron Williams is going to be off the board at this point in time as far as offensive lineman, as he did pick it up and pack it up and go to University of Eugene. So he is off the board. So talking about offensive tackle prospects, and this is someone that we have yet to offer. This is someone who I believe the Texas should take a look at. And this is going to be someone who is going to be a 3-star offensive tackle. He is going to be from Leaf Hastings in the Houston area. He is going to be Big Timmy Gagopin. I just call him Timmy G because Hooked on Phonics has yet to work for me. Coming out of the Houston area, he is nationally rated as a 3-star prospect at 688. But in the great state of Texas, he is nationally recognized as the number 99th player. But he does have those traits that we do look for from our offensive line and especially our offensive tackle positions. As he is 6'6", he is near that 290-pound range. He is almost 300 pounds himself. And from my estimation and from what I did see on the film whenever I was checking him out is he does have that good quick feet, does get onto the second level, and he does have those big, heavy hands that you need for those offensive tackle positions. He could get it a little bit more rough in the the run game, He could get a little bit more tough, could improve that. But with that being said, he does move on to off his initial block and move on to the second and next and third level quite easily. So I would absolutely love for the Texas Longhorns to get into lines of communication and maybe possibly stretch out an offer to Big Timmy G out of Houston area if we do possibly miss on some of these bigger fish that we want to fry in our pan. So hats off to Timmy G and hats off to everybody that's sitting here listening to me. And if you do like this kind of sort of content, if you do like this kind of sort of publications, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the Eyes on Tech channel, as I do live streams, do monologue videos, and I will continue out with the highlight videos as well here in about a month, and I will start getting those rolling once I get everything all fixed up and figured out with YouTube itself. So Big Timmy G is someone that you might want to look for down the line for the University of Texas possibly offering. Talking about Timmy G, who is in the hunt for him right now. If you do look at his college offer list, you are going to see Arkansas State. The University of Houston, H-Town has, of course, made an offer out to Timmy G, but did not make it in his Final Four, I believe. Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Buffalo, the two SEC schools, are going to make a big influence. If you're going to ask me, by my personal estimation, by my personal guess, Ole Miss is probably coming at them the hardest, as they're going to be an SEC school, and they do offer good things on the offensive line and have put out some good prospects prospects sides of the ball as of recently. So with Timmy G, with us arriving late to the party, that is going to be late if we do make this offer and reach out that connection, that is going to be 100% true. But with that being said, with Texas being, let's say, a flagship station, a flagship program, a flagship university in the state of Texas, that might move the needle some. That might perk up his ears, and that might get his attention if the big flagship program from the great state of Texas were to come out and make an offer on Timmy G. So that's going to be the offensive line big board by my estimation. We do not want it to be like what it was last year whenever we had Coach Herb Hand miss and whiff badly. We do not want that to happen again this year, as last year we did take away only 2 3-star offensive linemen. We did take Max Merrill from the Dallas Jesuit, and then Hayden Connor from the Houston area as well. Both going to be offensive line prospects, going to be coming down the pike. Both probably going to get redshirted this year. We do have some offensive line talent. We do have much talent on our offensive line. With that being said, we absolutely 100% do need to develop these guys. We do have 9 4-stars on our campus on the 40. If I did count it up right, we do have 9 4-stars. So we absolutely need to develop. One of the things, by my estimation, whenever Banks and Cameron Williams did commit to the University of Oregon, it told me 2 things. It told me that that with a lot of these big time and major prospects, regardless of position, that we are ultimately going to have to put it on the field. They want to see a product on the field. They want to see a positive product on the field. They want to see us moving the ball if they're on offense. They want to see a flashy defense, confusing defense, an exciting defense if they're going to be defensive players. But a lot of these prospects, they want to see it on the field. That and the NIL is a big deal in those universities that are jumping out in front, making a big move. And I believe the University of Oregon is definitely going to be one of them. The name, image, and likeness. The University of Miami, they're coming out of it. I believe all of their players are getting paid $6,000 by some MMA mixed martial arts academy. Is paying every single one of their players $6,000. Every single one of their scholarship players. So there are universities making moves. There are universities that are already making big impact. The University of Texas Leverage Program, as it was called, has yet to make a big splash and a big impact as of yet. But as far as the offensive line big board, as far as what the University of Texas has got going on the offensive line, this is what I got going on for you guys. This is what I believe where the University of Texas is at and where we're looking at. So, yeah. Let's see if I can see you. Where did I put you all? So, who do we got? So, and any questions? UT considered risky. Got to go, boys. Okay, sorry, man. It took me a while getting everything started out. But everybody knows this. If you want to see Ben Riza 1, he is going to be the owner, operator, moderator on the Facebook program. He does Texas sports and recruiting news. So if you have anything, questions about him, good dude over there, Ben Riza 1. He says he also likes Seth Marlin out of Everman, Texas. Cool, man. Keep on Caden Thrift at Lampasas, man. You know I know about our boy Caden Thrift. But moving on and talking about commitments and who do I think that possibly could be coming down the pike as far as commitments are going to be concerned. And I believe that who our next 2 commitments are possibly going to believe. Are going to be, and I believe that could possibly happen on the same day. I believe it's going to be Derek Brown is a big-time possibility as far as who is going to be next to commit. Derek Brown, of course, is going to be an edge rusher. Does play a little bit of linebacker, does drop back in a little bit of coverage. Does play a little sideline to sideline action out there for Texarkana. He is 6'3", 210 pounds, so he does need to bolster up that frame, does need to beef it up just a little bit if he want to play in a college level at the Power 5 level. But with that being said, he is a 4-star nationally rated recruit, just in the top 300 at 299. At the edge position, he is quite high, 14th rated over there. In the great state of Texas, he is the 46th ranked recruit, big-time prospect. What I do like about Derek Brown is going to be his versatility coming off the edge. I believe he might be a potential jack linebacker candidate coming down the pike, down for a couple of years after he does bolster up that frame some. But his sideline to sideline, his aggressive nature whenever he does attack the ball carrier, does seem to lunge out at the ball carrier. Needs to improve his downfield playing. Does need to improve his ability to take on the block just a little bit. Of course, with that frame being just over 210 pounds, that's obvious that you can see that's something that obviously does stand out. But Derek Brown is someone that I do see possibly committing to the University of Texas, and someone who could possibly be our next commit. On the 20th of July is whenever he is set to commit, and it does come down to him in Baylor. And whenever it does come down to him in Baylor, he does have a good contact. He does have a good relationship with their defensive line coach. And another positive thing that Baylor does have working for him is Texarkana is a small. Is a little bit small town. A lot of these small town guys kind of sort of had like the feel and the vibe of Waco. Although Waco is a bit larger town, but as far as a college university, a college environment, it is a bit of a smaller, more homely feel for what a lot of recruits say. So from Derek Brown liking the coach, liking the coaching staff, liking his position coach, and also having a good vibe and a good feel from the town. Don't take the Bears lightly whenever it does come down to his deciding day on the 20th. You absolutely need to respect what the Bears have to offer when it does come to Derek Brown. But on the 20th, I do expect a commitment to the good by the Longhorns from Mr. Brown. There it is. So what is everybody's thoughts on Derek Brown, the Texas High Texarkana product? What does everybody think about the 6'3", 210-pound edge rusher, man? What do y'all think about him? Yeah, I saw the Cherry Creek offensive tackle. I was wondering why they didn't keep up with him much longer. Speedy German, I agree with you on that. I don't know about the one in Arizona. I don't know exactly who you're talking about with the one in Arizona. But when you're talking about offensive linemen, you're talking about George Fitzpatrick. That's who you're talking about, right? Right, Snell. George Fitzpatrick, offensive lineman, 6'6", 285 pounds. Cherry Creek, Inglewood, Colorado, which is going to be the same. High school that we got Gunnar Helm from just this past year for the 2021 class. I did. In fact, look at him. One thing that I didn't have him on this list is that he was with. He's listed as cold from a standing standpoint. And this is someone that the University of Texas has been in contact with before. So the fact that we weren't his first choice, or he wasn't our first choice, a lot of the times whenever you do try to renege and re-come back at these prospects, a lot of the times that doesn't really come into play. And that doesn't really produce positive results, i.e. that doesn't really get you commitments or signatures. But with that being said, if we were to come at guys like Big Timmy G and start that line of communication and come at guys like Big Timmy G and say that come at them for the first time, just like meeting and talking to a new girl. You get that line of communication, you get to talking to them. That's exciting. And the fact that we are a flagship program in the great state of Texas, that can mean something to him as well. I did see Timmy G, and I do see that he did put a top 4 out as well. Obviously, the University of Texas wasn't on that top 4 because we've yet to offer. But if we were to start to get those lines of communication open, I believe that an offer could come up and possibly a commitment. But definitely something that I feel is worth taking a look at. Love Brown, he may be playing the game for likes and follows, but I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Oh, without a doubt, man, without a doubt. A lot of these guys do, you know what I mean? A lot of these guys do like the limelight. A lot of them are quieter kids, but with that being said, and talking about someone else who might also commit recently and might be one of our next commitments is going to be Jaray Patton. He just recently moved up his commitment date. He moved it up to on the same day of July 20th. And what's interesting about that is he does have the same final 2 top 2 list, i.e. his last 2 contestants for his commitment is the Baylor Bears and the Texas Longhorns, man. So the fact that they're both East Texas kids, they're both East Texas small town kids, and they're both 3-star prospects, and they're both coming from small towns, and they're committing on the same day, and they're coming down to those last 2 schools. I think they're probably a package deal. So on July 20th, we're either getting 2 commits or we're getting the double miss, man, by my estimation. I believe, unfortunately, that is going to be one of the things that is going to happen. So that's what I see happening with those 2. If you're going to ask me, Alistair, hey, man, who do you think are going to be the greatest opportunity for our next 2 commitments? I would say Jaray Patton, the linebacker from Minnehaha, Texas. And then, of course, I would say, obviously, what I was talking about, Mr. Brown from Texarkana, Texas. So whatever questions y'all have right now, man, whatever questions y'all have for me right now, Ben Reza. The other topic that I was going to talk about for you as well, and this is something that you do know coming out of the pike right now, as this did recently just happen. But I did put on the thumbnail up there, the University of Texas at Eugene. So the University of Oregon, the Ducks, quack, looking at Duck territory at 247 Sports right now, and they have 14 commitments from the class of 2022. And of their 14 commitments, guess how many of them are from the great state of Texas? As they have 5. They have 5 commitments from the great state of Texas. And, man, I'm not talking about just normal commits. I'm talking about they got big time commitments coming from the great state of Texas. They have Calvin Banks, the 5-star recruit, nationally ranked 15th, number 2 by position. And that's a big time position, man. That left tackle position that gets paid in the NFL. That is outside of quarterback. That is the position that goes number 1 next often. Probably it's going to be quarterback, the left tackle, and then defensive end are going to be the 3 most coveted spots in NFL. And Calvin Banks plays one of those coveted spots, and he is an Oregon Duck quack commit at this time right now. In addition to Calvin Banks, they also have Nicholas Anderson coming out of Katy, Texas, just north of the Houston area. He is a 4-star recruit, 6'3.5", right around 200-pound wide receiver. He committed just back in July 1st, just himself. So that's going to be 2 recent commits. Another one. We have his brother. Talking about Landon Hullaby. His brother plays linebacker for us from Mansfield, Timberview, out in Arlington, Texas. He's going to be a safety, another 4-star prospect, 352 ranked prospect, 6 foot tall, 180 pounds. Another Texas kid going up to the University of Oregon, going to quack with the Ducks. Cameron Williams, straight up out of DeVille, Duncanville Panthers. Was just talking about him all day in my program, the offensive tackle prospect, the big offensive tackle prospect. Like, really, man, I'm a grown man, been a grown man for over 20 years, and this kid is twice the size of me, as he is 360 pounds. He was nationally rated as a 4-star prospect, did get cut down to a 3-star, but with his play in his senior year, could get bolstered back up. But it doesn't matter because he has that frame. He does have that frame, and he can move that big body as well. Talking about Cameron Williams. And finishing out, I believe, the last of the Texas commits from of University of Eugene, Oregon Ducks is going to be Stephon Johnson, another wide receiver. So they've gone 2 wide receivers, 2 linemen, and then a safety from the great state of Texas, from DeSoto, wide receiver, 6 foot tall, right around 175 pounds, 3-star, 509 nationally rated. So what are your thoughts? What are your prayers about the Ducks coming into the University, great state of Texas, not the University of Texas, coming into Texas and taking out 5 prospects from the class of 2022, man? Holla at your boy. I can understand if it's the University of Alabama coming in and taking our top-rated prospects that they've been doing for quite some time, especially from the DFW area. I can understand. I can see that coming from them as they're winning natties. They're bringing home trophies. They're bringing home titles. I can see that coming from the Ohio State University. The Bucks been playing well. They've been recruiting well, been going to the playoffs year in, year out, have natties themselves. Clemson, they go everywhere. They don't necessarily pick and plot and plunder one state, so they haven't necessarily infiltrated the state all that much, although they did take home one of the top quarterbacks from the class of 22 in Cade Klubnik, who did just absolutely tear it up in the 11-on-11 series. But talking about the University of Oregon Ducks, pulling prospects from Texas, and just wondering what are y'all's thoughts on that, as I think it is going to continue. I do believe on the offensive line, Cristobal is going to be an offensive line coach, and he is their head coach. So that's why they're making some good headwind there. But also the name, image, and likeness, obviously having with Nike, whenever Calvin Banks did in fact sign whenever Calvin Banks did commit, that he did commit whenever he had his Hayes Fawcett printout, the Nike emblem, the Nike logo was right there on as well. So that obviously had something to do with his commit to the University of Oregon Ducks. The name, image, and likeness definitely did take into effect with those big offensive linemen. Ooh, yeah, that's what Omega. That is what I'm saying. It is absolutely going to be the University of Texas at Eugene right now. Miami is making a big time impact as well. I saw that Bo Nix, the Auburn quarterback, is making a big time prospect, making a big time push by Milo, the Sweet Tea Company, whatever it's called. The University of Miami, every single one of their prospects just got $6,000 from an MMA gym, from a mixed martial arts gym. Not sure exactly why, but they just want to promote that gym. So some universities are obviously taking it into effect, and those who do take it into effect, we're going to have the best impact and going to get the most out of it this first year. And those who, just like in life, just like in business, those are first. Those who have success first are going to continue that success and going to definitely make an big time impact in the playoff system coming up here in 2023, whenever that does get started. Of course, man. I would love for them to go after the big offensive tackle from LSU, Dare. We need depth at that position. We need starting bodies out of that position. Talking about the left tackle prospect, I believe that the issue with him might be grades. With him, with that being said, if it's an issue with grades, they can't quite go after them. But if it's not an issue with grades, without a doubt, I would love for them to go after Dare. But with that being said, those of you, if you're new to the program, those of you who are new to the live stream right now, just please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up for this program. Please give me a thumbs up for this live stream, as it just kind of sort of does help out with the algorithm. And if you've yet to subscribe to the Eyes on Texas channel, if you could just go ahead and make that commitment as well, I would very much appreciate that. But going on to the offensive linemen and other prospects in the defensive lineman, talking about grades, Jaray Bledsoe is could be another one that does come to mind. I do know that the defensive tackle prospect is a big-time prospect. I believe that he's a 4-star, ranked in the 200 range, like 237, 247, something like that. But I do know that grades is going to be one of the things that is, in fact, holding him back from committing anywhere, really. I do believe that the Aggies were trying to make a strong push for him. We're trying to make a strong push for Bledsoe, but they ultimately decided to back off. They ultimately decided to back off from the lines of communication with him due to the fact of his grades. They already had big-time major prospects such as Bear Alexander, the 5-star D tackle with every high school he's playing for now, Fort Worth one, because I do believe he's in his 4th high school in 4 years. So he's at one of the Fort Worth schools now. So the defensive tackle, the Aggies are really deep right now. So Jaray Bledsoe was one of the ones I do believe they did end their lines of communication. The University of Texas, I believe, is still continuing their line of communication with Mr. Bledsoe. They're holding out to see if he can get those grades up. I do believe he did switch schools, taking summer school in order to get those grades up so he can be a big-time Power 5 contending defensive lineman. I think they made that company also sign Alabama. Yeah, man. As you think about it, these big time prospects, they're not good. If we're fans of something and they're drinking Milo iced tea, I'm not going to buy Milo iced tea if Rattler is pushing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be buying Milo's tea if I know you guys pushing that product. And it's going to be the same way. Nito Omazula, would love to see him go after him. Would love to see him go after him. I believe he is is he an interior or a tackle body though? Off the top of my head, Speedy German though, I believe he might be an interior body. If he's an interior body, I believe he's not going to be a take at this time. I could be wrong off the top of my head, but when it comes down to interior bodies, I believe we're done. Unless one of those two guys is obviously Devon Campbell, yeah, or Ernest Green coming out of California. Those 2 5-star guys, if those guys come calling, I do believe the fact that we will allow them obviously to come into our class. Would love to have 5-star offensive linemen, as we have only had 4 5-star offensive linemen on the 40 since they started the ranking system in 1999 or 2000, whenever it was, 25 years ago. Scott says, bottom line, Texas has to win and win now and produce on the field. Yeah, man, it's a winning solvent, and that's the bottom line. That is the bottom line, and that is what I have been saying all along. There is going to be these prospects that are diehard prospects that want to play for Texas, that are diehard, loyal to the soil product prospects. Those are very rare. The majority of these prospects are going to be the ones that want it proven on the field. Sark is going to have great line. He's going to be a great pitch man. We have great recruiters. Banks is a great recruiter, a special teams coordinator, tight ends coach. Bo Davis, great recruiter, defensive line coach. We can go out and we can talk to these kids all day. We can go out and sell them oceanfront property until they're blue in the face. But man, when it comes down to it, at the bottom end of the day, these kids are going to want to see that ball spun in the air. They're going to want to see the wide receivers be put into the proper positions. And these defensive linemen are going to want to see that scheme. They're going to want to see what their position looks like exactly in this position in Coach PK's new defense, this new pressure style of defense, this new defense that is really going to be complex to the quarterback. That's really going to make him adjust pre-snap, pre-read. That's really what Coach PK does bring and offer to the table. These DBs, they want to know what this nameless, positionless kind of sort of football really is going to look like. Because whenever you talk about Coach PK and his other defensive backs, it didn't say cornerback, it didn't say safety, it didn't say nickelback. It just said simply DB. They didn't play 100% positionless football. You know, they really were corners and safeties out there. But, man, they were interchangeable and they were versatile on the back end. And really, and schematically, on every single defensive position. Really, that's really what they're going to be. Coach Hutzer, he can talk on these linebackers, these blue in the face, but man, really what's going to sell cheeks, really what's going to sell the other linebacker, the 5-star Perkins coming out of the Houston area, is going to see that defense on the field. Every single year, Coach Sark is going to get a high-profile quarterback to commit. That's going to happen every single year. His reputation is going to absolutely 100% precede him in that regard. He's highly respected as a quarterback coach, as a quarterback whisperer, a quarterback guru, however you want to word it, interpret it in your mind. That is something that is always going to happen. But these defensive prospects want to see it on the field. These offensive line prospects who we have not put in the NFL draft in such a long time, they are going to see it on the field. These Kelvin Banks, these Cameron Williams, they want to see it on the field. Bryce Anderson, he wants to see it on the field. That's why we're struggling with these big time major commitments right now. These prospects, they want to see it on the field. And the fact that right now, Zoom calls are done. Prospects were able to communicate with these coaches live in living color. We're able to go to these college campuses live in living color. And that's why these decommitments and recommitments were made and remade to other universities across the board. And that's why it really was an exciting month just this past month of June. That's why we're seeing all these July commits, and we are going to see a lot of July commits coming up from this last live period of a time coming up here in July, without a doubt. Miguel, man, what's up, man? Miguel, I haven't seen you here before, man. So if you are new, please give me a thumbs up or please subscribe to the channel, man. I very much appreciate that. As I do try to produce college football content, Texas high school football content. But as you can see, man, I like to go horns up with the Longhorns. But yeah, definitely, we don't even have to go 10-2. Is what the show improvement what these coaches can develop. Without a doubt, man. What it's going to come down to, probably more than wins and losses, is going to be development. Is going to be draft picks. I say without a doubt, 100%, the most important player on the Texas Longhorns football team, regardless of position, offense or defense, is DeMarvion Overshawn. The safety that spun down to linebacker is the most important player on a Texas roster. And the main reason why is because he came in as a 5-star prospect. He came in as one of the number 1, 2, or 3 safeties in all the land. We landed 1, 2, 3 major safeties that year, and he was also one of them, right? So he has won his freshman year, not much time in the playing field. Sophomore year, got hurt, dealt with injuries. Junior year, this past year, COVID season, spun down to linebacker, changing in position. This season was injured, now introduced again yet to a new defense, but now it is time for to see results on the field. His body has matured. His body has grown. We need to get that body healthy. We need to get that body in mind to learn the linebacking position and what it does mean to be closer to the ball, what it does mean to be closer to the line of scrimmage, and how to make impactful plays, play in and play out from that position, and not have big holes in your game, and not be able to not necessarily take plays off, just not show up and show out whenever you should be making those plays whenever they do arrive. Game in and game out, DeMarvion Overshawn wasn't a primetime player. Was a primetime player in a many games, but game in and game out was not there for us. So that consistency of play from Overshawn is what we need. And if we see that consistency from play from Overshawn, his athleticism, his quickness, his flash of speed, and his body style, that will develop into a primetime draft pick by my estimation, and that is what we need to be, and that is why Overshawn is such an important recruit by my estimation. Yeah. And Scott says another good selling point is that Texas and Kyle Flood can develop 3 and 4 stars into beasts. Without a doubt. Sark just did that, without a doubt. And Matt Jones, Everybody thought that Bryce Young, is that his name? The 5-star quarterback was going to beat out Mac Jones, was going to beat out the player that had been there 4 or 5 years at Alabama, and the freshman 5-star was going to come out there and beat him out, and that all of Coach Sarkisian's cap. It is the fact that he turned, not necessarily he turned, a 3-star quarterback was turned under his tutelage into a first-round draft pick, man. That is going to be a big giant feather up in his cap. I hope we can league Roshan this year. I don't know what that really means. I guess Miguel wants Roshan Johnson to have an outstanding performance this year, so he can become a draft pick from the running back position. That might be a bit of a stretch this year. He is always going to have the superstar Bijan Robinson at the running back position while Roshan is there. He's always going to be running back one. I'm not going to hate on Rojo. Rojo is a very versatile running back. Rojo is definitely a yes man, a very coachable running back, a very coachable football player in general. So the fact that he possibly could be a drafted running back sometime down the line is a possibility for that young man. I don't want to say what is and what isn't a possibility for these young athletes. I have much respect for Roshan. I'm sure everyone else does. What else has Ben got to say? I think we just need to win the Big 12 if that is a Nite season, and that with a 9-win season, I guess is what he's talking about. And we get there, no one is going to give a crap as long as we get that golden hat, man. It's all about beating OU. That is really what it's all about. But the fact that they have reeled off 6 straight titles, man, if they get to number 7, I just don't know really what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm just going to put my head in the sand. I'm just so confused. I just really don't know what I'm going to do if Oklahoma reels off 7 straight Big 12 titles. I mean, there's really not much more they can say. I'm tired of the memes. I'm tired of all that kind of sort of crap. And I'm sure all of y'all are tired of all that crap. There's absolutely nothing that we can say whenever Oklahoma has reeled off 6 straight. We can brag about our Director's Cup. Let's talk about that. We ended Stanford's 25-year run at the at the Director's Cup, but good for us. But it does all pretty much will come down to football. Red River shootout, my bad, you guys. I'm just saying, we just got to beat OU. Yeah, man, definitely got to beat OU. That is what it comes down to. So I'm pretty much out of information to talk about. If you're going to ask me what it comes down to next commitments, definitely going to be Jeremy Patton. As we are down to his last and final 2. Some people say that we are the leader. He is crystal ball to the University of Texas, as well as the other defensive lineman, the edge rusher. Going to be talking about Mr. Smith coming out of Texarkana. Those are probably looking to be our next commitments, if you were to ask me. Stanford dropped a lot of non-revenue sports this last year. Yeah, but they dropped like 16 of them. But with that being said, they still had 19 more than Texas did. So as Texas, we had 20 varsity sports. They still had 39. So you know what I mean? They still have a lot more. So it's really not that big a deal. Plus, we beat their pants off as far as the total score. But a win's a win. And so I really don't care the fact that they didn't have all their varsity sports, because they still had way more varsity sports than the University of Texas did. Scott says if Texas can go 10-2, I'd rather see the losses be to Louisiana and Arkansas. That would be a true indication of character. Yes, that would be a true indication of character. And that would probably also mean that we would win the Big 12. So that would be great, because that would if we win the Big 12, that we would possibly have a chance of going to the playoffs. But if we go 10-2 and those first 2 losses are going to be against those 2 teams, I wouldn't have that big a deal, because that means that we would beat our arch rivals, our arch nemesis, and the leading getter for the Big 12 championship in the Oklahoma Sooners. All right, man. I'm about to start wrapping this up. Just to let you know, because my wife is getting at me. She is starting to get at me and give me a hard time about life in general at this given time. So, as I do say, you don't know exactly who is exactly going to come at you in life. You don't know exactly where it's going to come from. You don't know where the negative and the positive aspects of life are going to come at you. Could come from a friend, or could come from foe. You don't know exactly what's going to come from. Life could come at you at mysterious ways, man. So you always need to be aware of your circumstances. You always need to be aware of your surroundings. You always need to keep your head in a swivel. That is something that I automatically 100% say every single time. That is something that I do believe out in life, man. You do not know exactly where it is going to be coming from. You do need to keep your head in a swivel. You do need to keep your eyes on the back of your head. You do need to look after yourself. You need to look after your family. You need to look after your loved ones, and you make sure that those people get a good look at love and have a good look and good love at you as well, man. That is what's most important in life. So this is what, in this point in time, which I like to let everybody know, to please keep your head in a swivel and your eyes on Texas. Hook 'em up.